of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize, Creole and Garifuna.
Good morning. Here we are once again to do our daily devotion. Today we want to look at a special passage of scripture found in the book of Romans. Sometimes when we preach some very difficult things, people get upset. People lose patience and they think that you're throwing them under the bus. But the word of God is not there to be nitpicked at. It is to be taught that people will be able to make changes in their lives. And that is always my objective, that people make changes in their lives. Now, as I look at this passage of scripture found in Romans chapter 8, it speaks about the two ways in which people can live their lives. Living by the flesh or living by the spirit. If you go to Galatians chapter 5, you see where the Apostle Paul goes even further. And he says the same things to the Galatians, but he lists the way these things manifest themselves. But he's talking about pleasing God. Because in this country, many people think that just by attending church, they will please God. You will not please God by that. You will not. If you do live your life in that way, you're making a fool of yourself. A lot of our people, I do not know what gets into them, but they live their life with this same very mindset, setting up themselves to, if they die in that state, to go to hell. And sometimes it is preached from pulpits over and over again, but it is not grasped. Instead, it is looked at as if though the pastor is throwing word at people in the pews. But this is so very important. You can live a life only two ways, living for the spirit or living by the flesh. And it goes here and it says in verse 5, it says, for those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on things of the flesh. You see? And we showed this today when we were looking at this Numbers in chapter 14 of the book of Numbers. It talks about when these people went into the land, what they saw and how they came out. And the mindset that they had, out of the 12 persons that went, 10 of them gave a bad report. But if you fast forward to Numbers 25, you will see where they lived out their fantasy. They actually went and did some horrible things in the sight of God, which cost many of them their lives. Why? They live according to the flesh, and they manifested one thing that is listed from Galatians 5, sexual immorality. That's what they did. The two persons who did not go along and did not give the bad report, those people are seen 40 years later coming back into the land with the young people. Deuteronomy is the second giving of the law. And Caleb and Joshua came back with all those young people. And the Lord gave them the law the second time. But we are here looking at how you live. It says that if you are living according to the flesh, you have a mindset on fleshly things. On things of the flesh, if you're living according to the flesh. We could easily check ourselves out and see how we are living. If you're living according to the flesh or according to the spirit. It says, now the mindset of the flesh is death. But the mindset of the spirit is life and peace. Now we want those things. We long for those things. Not death, of course not. Because it says that if you live according to the mindset of the flesh, it's death. Death. And many of our people are living lives that are geared towards doing things of the flesh. Living like that is putting yourself in the crosshairs with God. Why? Because your life is not in line with the things of God. It continues and it says, the mindset of the flesh is hostile to God because it does not submit to God's law. And that's what I'm talking about. It's hostile. Remember now, God is our boss, the ones of us who are living by the Spirit. The Lord is our boss. We pay attention, we listen. That is not to say we don't err and miss the point from time to time. But living in sin and sinning is two different things. And so, as we go along our busy schedule, our busy day, we must always remind ourselves to live according to the Spirit, because other than that, we're living a life that is going to put us at the crosshair of judgment. Love of the world is enmity with God. So the same here, right? Indeed, it is unable to do so. It can't. So even if it wants to, it can't. The body or the person who is living according to the flesh, even if that person wants to please God, that person cannot please God. It is the very nature. And the Apostle Paul spoke about seeing a second set of laws in his nature. And I know from time to time, you feel that resistance coming from within you. It's in all of us. That is a part of us, because we will live having these difficulties until we die. Think about the time before you became a Christian. And think about after when you became a Christian. And see if those things that you were struggling with, if you're struggling with them again. Or if they trouble you as much as they did in the past. They can't, because the flesh has now been controlled by the Spirit if we continue to feed the Spirit. Right? And the Spirit then takes over, giving us greater resistance against those things that we had difficulty with in the past. It is in our best interest to live according to the Spirit.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call 610-5679. Visit us at the Bowman Market Plaza or enjoy our free deliveries across the country. Blessed Gardens. Get growing, Belize.
Do you enjoy learning and wanting to know more about Christ your Savior? Then join Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Ways every Sunday 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on PlusTv for half an hour of beautiful hymns and Bible messages. Messages are repeated on Tuesdays at 1:30 and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Search in the Word for God's will. Know more and do more for the God we love. In Search of the Lord's Ways with Phil Sanders is being brought to you by the Church of Christ in your area. Be sure to visit.
Mopping, tiles, furniture, and...
Miss, you don't need all of this, man. Only this you need. We make 4 out of this. And it's cheaper than all of them put together.
I want it.
Green Clean. All your cleaning needs in one bottle.
Who told the ocean you can only come this far? And who showed the moon where to hide till evening? Whose words alone can catch a falling star? Well, I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. All of creation testifies this life within me cries. I know my Redeemer lives.
I'm coming back to your heart.
Foundations. Your work must be grounded upon solid rock, and so should your faith. Join Pastor Louis Wade Jr. weekly for Foundations Bible Study, where he goes deep into the Word of God with biblical teachings for better understanding.
A person might have potential inside of them, a desire to fulfill something, but the word of the Lord can bring that out of a person. Amen? So in the case of Gideon, though he felt that he could not do it, God had designated for him to do it. And so when God spoke the word through the angel, Gideon became who God knew he was all along.
Tune in on PlusTv Sundays for a new program or catch the repeats. We would love to hear from you. Write in and share your thoughts, prayer requests, or even pose questions you may have regarding the Bible passages. Foundations. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain.
So when we face God, when I think of the love of the Lord.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting.
Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Belize City, get ready for a safe and reliable e-taxi experience like never before. Building on the success of our e-ride bus service, we've heard your feedback, Belize City. We've seen your enthusiasm and how eagerly you've embraced zero-emission transportation in our community. Introducing the e-ride taxi, an electric taxi service, bringing you a cleaner, greener way to travel around our beautiful city. As part of the transformative Belize City e-ride program, this new service is another step toward modernizing our transportation system for a sustainable future. Looking to book your first e-ride taxi? It's super easy. First, download the Medriva app and register. Then, book your ride. Insert your pickup and drop-off location. Select e-ride, choose the number of occupants, and pick your preferred payment method. Confirm your ride and track your e-ride in real time as it makes its way to you. It's fast, eco-friendly, and designed for your comfort. So don't wait. Download Medriva today and let's drive Belize City towards a brighter, greener future, one e-ride at a time. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Pletz Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Pletz combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Pletz can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction. Complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris Cree. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Pletz Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Pletz Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
Oh, I wasn't having a bad day. I just needed...
It's here! The biggest sale of the year. Find your happy place at Builders Hardware with our happy sale from October 15th to December 31st. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, we got unbeatable prices that will put a big smile on your face. Freshen up your walls with 20% off all paints and 25% off paint supplies. Upgrade your space with 25% off lights, fans, AC, and a wide selection of tiles to match your style. Plus, enjoy 30 to 50% off selective items. But that's not all. We also sell sand and gravel, blocks, roofing, and more. Find everything you need from construction start to finish. Don't miss out on our happy deals. Shop today or explore our online store at shopbuildersbz.com. Visit Builders Hardware in Belmopan. This is your happy place.
It is truly an honor to stand here today as a part of the Cell Phone Repair Training Program. A program that has not only taught us a valuable technical skill, but also empower us as women to step into a field that is often seen as male-dominated. We learn how to open up phones, identify parts, common problems, and even fix these issues on our own. We have not only learned a new trade, but we have proven that women can do anything we set our minds to.
I am forever grateful for this experience. This course was amazing. And I bet these ladies have that knowledge now, and nobody's gonna take away that knowledge that we have.
So it's an opportunity now for you to start to figure out the way forward and to be able to market to your community.
When women are empowered and they're productive, they produce, GDP grows, and we're all more productive and better off as an entire country. So they're investing in you, and they fully expect that you guys are going to go out and work and make your community better, make your families better, and then the country as a consequence is going to be so much better because of your hard work. I want to thank you for believing in yourself, for having the confidence to at least attempt something new. And in the future, I want you to continue to take chances, to challenge yourself, not to underestimate what you can do and try new things, because a lot of times people need just one chance.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna.
Blessed
We're in the month of November, man. A lot of celebrations happening that you need to be a part of. Of course, we have the 19th of November that's happening down south in the culture capital. But there's also going to be a lot of events happening in Belmopan. On Friday, we brought you guys a story with the National Garifuna Council, the Belmopan chapter, with Miss Emily Martinez. And she spoke about all the amazing, amazing events and activities that will be taking place in Belmopan for the month of November. So, if you want to know what happened, just head on over to the National Garifuna Council's Facebook page to see what's happening in Belmopan. I said Belmopan boring, but a lot of stuff will be happening in Belmopan today. So we have a packed schedule this morning for you guys. This morning we have two segments. The first segment, we're going to talk about domestic violence, what that is, and some of the resources that are out there for women in these domestic violence situations. And then in our second segment, we're going to be joined by some persons from UB. I just had UB last week. I'm having UB again today. They're going to be talking about a STEM fair that's going to be taking place right here in Belmopan next week. And of course, tonight is the big night for the endowment concert here in Belmopan. So if you guys would want to support the University of Belize, of course, you can purchase tickets at UB. I think for $75 for the general, $150 for the VIP, and all those proceeds go towards the betterment of the university. So, with my long intro now, I'll segue. As I stated, our first segment, we're talking about domestic violence, what that is, and some of the resources that are out there and available for women. I'm joined by Miss Dorla Bowman. She's the founder and the executive director of Building People Movement. They come all the way from down south to be with us this morning. Right now it's early, it's 7:30. I don't know a morning person, so I can't imagine how early you have to wake up to be here. Miss Dorla, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. At this point in time in my life, I'm counting my blessings. Over the days, weeks, months, recently there has been some terrible, horrible actions like murdering kind of back-to-back of our women. For years and years we have been having the murdering of our men. Now we have been having the murdering of our women and children. And it's horrible. It pains my heart. It hurts. I have been in the women's movement from the beginning. You know, I started out by working with government at the Women's Bureau, and then I went on to founding the non-governmental organization called Women Against Violence and some other organizations. Because I'm a person, if the status quo does not provide the service, a group, myself and a group of other women try to put something in place that will resolve the problem, that will resolve the issue. Right now, I'm the founder and executive director for a non-governmental organization called Building People, because this is what I'm all about building people.
So let's talk about building the Building People movement. What is that? What do you guys do? And when were you formed?
The Building People movement was formed around the 2000, and it was formed because myself and some of my colleagues, we noticed that not enough resources was put into building people. And this is something we have to do from the womb to the grave. Yeah. You know, people put more emphasis in building roads, in painting parks, in painting different things, and not really look at people as a human being. Yeah. To put in the resources, to put in the programs, to find out exactly what are the needs, to help people to get a meaningful education, because you could get an education, but it's not meaningful. To get a meaningful education, to look at the resources that we have in the community that we could use to help them to earn an income. Personal development goes a long way. Looking at the school curriculum to make sure it adapts to the needs of our Belizean people.
Yeah.
For instance, one of my concerns is that we have a curriculum in most parts and it does not really serve our purpose. You know, we take pride in, you know, people learning their ABC and 1, 2, 3 very early. But if we look at some of the progressive countries, and sometimes we look at these countries and we envy, oh, why can't we be like Japan? Why can't we be like Singapore? You know, why can't we be like Mexico? You know, because from very early as a child, I used to go to Mexico for health purposes. And I noticed as a child the innovation.
Yeah.
And all this come out of a school curriculum, you know. They could take a mango and make many different things. You know, why can't we? But it's something that comes out of the school system. It's grounded in the curriculum. And like, for instance, building people a basic thing like relationships. You know, we did a research about building healthy relationships, and we feel that this needs to be done from early childhood. It's not just when there is a gang crisis, you will call them in and do problem solving, conflict resolution.
Yeah.
It won't work. You start that from preschool. In some countries, they don't even do exams the first 4 or 5 years. Exams are out. Tests are out. Yeah. You teach them empathy. You teach them conflict resolutions. You know, things like this that will help to build the character.
So do you
These
believe
are
that
key
the lack of
personal.
teaching contributes to the domestic violence?
I do
crisis?
violence on a whole. And I usually say violence in the home leads to violence in the streets. And some people don't see it, they don't get it. Because from the 80s, I have been working with the issue of violence. When I went to Harvard University, I specifically did a course called Violence Prevention at Harvard School of Education. And for that, the course looked at violence from the womb to the grave. And it was taught by a professor who was a big consultant for Latin America, who used to go in because they had all this gang violence and all of that. So it's the same thing, violence. And you have to develop the skills of empathy, of respect. And people blame the parents. The poor mothers get hit. They do their job. Yeah. But what informed the parents? What informed the mothers? They're a product of our school. Most of the things we learn in school. You can't be a good lawyer if you didn't go to law school. Yeah. The education system informs you, equip you, give you the skills, give you the knowledge, because it's these same students in our elementary school who become parents, and sometimes too early. Where do they get their education? Yeah. And not everybody can teach, you know. Just like how you teach people how to say good morning, thank you. And these days, maybe they're not even teaching that. You know, in school, all this comes from the educational system. That is what informs the family, informs the parents. Yeah. And if they don't know it, if they did not get it in their family, that's the end of that. So you have to keep on educating and re-educating and looking at these things from preschool. Because it's hard to change people. We tend to feel we could change people, you know, and especially women feel they could change man, but they can't. Yeah. And so they have to, these things, you have to bring it into the relationship. You bring it to the table.
Yeah. So I think we can agree that these issues stem from the entire life cycle. From a small, you're learning these things. When you grow up, it manifests into something different. They also maybe see how their parents interact with each other, internalize that, and then pass it on to their partner as well.
Yes, and I want to emphasize that a lot of people say, well, the family is the first school. But who, as I say, who informs the family? Who gives them that information?
Still the school. Goes back to it.
It's not the family, goes back to the school. It
Yeah.
goes back to the education system.
Yeah. So now, sometimes that does fail.
A lot of time it has
people,
failed. It has failed.
So when that fails and we have the issue of domestic violence, that's very prevalent. You stated earlier there's been a lot of femicides, especially in the last few weeks. I think almost every week we've been reporting on women being killed. There's the one with the fire in San Felipe. There's a girl, Gentle, in Belize City who was shot presumably by her boyfriend. The lady who was found with stab wounds in Belize City in the garbage bin. I mean, the list goes on with the amount of women being killed that we've been reporting on. So, what resources are there for these women in these situations? Because a lot of times I feel like the main concern is, well, if I left or not, I can't go
And
anywhere.
leaving, a lot of people don't realize that leaving, that's the most dangerous time.
Yes.
The most dangerous time when you leave. And especially if you leave and you go back.
Yeah.
And when you think about leaving, you have to think from all angles. It's literally you have to go into hiding and you have to have the support. You have to know which way to go. Many people who have successfully left an abusive situation, it's like they left home to go to work. Because I have researched this thoroughly, and I've been, as a child, I used to hear stories. They leave home, these women leave home to go to work. Next thing you know, they are catching a plane out of Belize. It has to be well organized because it's dangerous. But a lot of women doesn't know this. And then there is this cycle of violence where the man will come, you have the tension building with the abuse. Then you have the abuse. And then after that, you have the honeymoon stage where he comes back and sweet you up, give you money, say you don't want to do it again, go down on your knees. And so people don't know and understand. And that's why the NGOs used to be a big part of the re-education and informing women beforehand, this is what happens. There is a cycle, because I didn't even know that cycle. One of the reasons I did not get involved in domestic violence because of domestic violence. I got involved because I suffer a lot of sexual harassment while working with the government.
Wow.
Sexual harassment, but I had to put my sexual harassment experience on the back burner because most women, they were in relationships, married, and they were having domestic violence.
Yeah.
So this is, it's education from all angles. But right now, I tell you, I am confused. I don't even know what resources are out there. Because last week I had a young woman who came, the building people, what we do, we try to get projects because we are not a rich organization. Most of the monies, the funding now goes to environmental issues and things with gays and lesbian, and we are not into that, right? For social programs, it's next to nil to get the resources. And years ago, more people used to volunteer, but the present government has put everybody to work. For people to make it in life, they have to have 2-3 jobs. Try to have a main job and several side hustles. So there is no time for volunteer work. So what these decision makers and policy makers need to realize when they are there in the cabinet and in these places signing MOUs and signing off on this, they have to look at what is the ramification down the stream. How it will impact people. You make all these things, you put your people, everybody to work, man, woman, and child have to be working, looking for a job. Nobody can volunteer. And that volunteer work builds social capital and help to make intervention and pick up the slack of things that government can't do and don't know how to do. But if everybody have to be having a main job, try to get a main job, 2-3 side hustle, no time to volunteer. They might come in and say they want to volunteer, but they're looking for a job, they want pay. And you can't be mad with them because there are bills to be paid. You know, everything going up, food bill, water bill, light bill, everything going up. So it's hard to volunteer, and a lot of these women organizations that provided the support, they took a licking because a lot of the men and a lot of institutions didn't want them to happen because they feel like it's women against men, but it's making useful interventions. Like I was talking to some of the old members of Women Against Violence, and they were saying, Dorla, in our days, these things weren't happening because we were out there. But if there is a lack of funding, if the funding that you depended on over the years has changed to women, to programs for lesbian and gays and environmental issue, you know, the trees, the dog, those are important, but the human being is the center of it. And then you don't have that coming from government. Years ago, you used to be able to apply and get a subvention to help, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
So it's a crisis about what is out there. For instance, I established the first shelter for battered women with people like Dorla Rosado, Maggie Brown, Carmen Barrow, you know, Bernadette, a whole heap of women. We came together and established a shelter. But at that time, I was the deputy mayor in the Belize City Council, and we established a shelter with everything. And then what I did, I appointed a board. And so, because I felt that other women, other people need to take up responsibility. You know, I can't be doing everything.
Yeah.
And we trained them, we got resources. During that time when we were there, you had people like David Fonseca, Ralph Fonseca, Steve Latchman, Husekowi. They were in the council. They were very supportive, and government as a whole, we were able to work with government and talk to them and have them try and earmark certain resources. And we work with government officials and people on both sides of the aisle, be it red or blue.
Yeah.
And we were able to piece up what we had. But as I said, no, you know, many of the resources has closed down. The women organization, there are no resources. Many of the organizations have closed down because of lack of volunteer, lack of financial resources. And so it's in a mess. And the shelter for battered women, we used to operate it as an independent entity. But as it went on, when government changed, people tried to kick out this one and kick out that one and put in their colors. And then the training got lost. You couldn't even, I used to be able to pick up the phone and call the shelter. You couldn't do that anymore. And just last week, a woman came to me because we, at Building People, we educate, we do information and referral. We try to get funding. We have been lucky that over the years at least, and we don't get big money because it's for social programs.
Yeah.
But we have been able to get support from the U.S. Embassy for projects. We have been able to get support from the British High Commission and from the Canadian government. That is what has kept us afloat. But you know, when you have these projects, it's specific things you need to do.
Yeah.
But we still do information, referral, and we make appointments because the key agency that could really deal with these things, NGOs don't have the authority. It's the government because it's the police department, the Ministry of Health, you know, these are the agencies, Ministry of Human Development, Women's Department. I don't know, as far as I can see, the Women's Department has been watered down, you know, to a certain extent, the Women's Commission. But things have changed and they don't keep informing people. You have to put the information out there because the Women's Commission at the beginning was an advisory body to point out and to help with policy. But apparently that has changed. So there's a vacuum out there. You don't know who to go to and where. Last week a woman came to me and I made about 20 phone calls, could not get through. And I thought I had the numbers. If I had problem in getting through and calling numbers that is not working, because you have to keep these numbers updated. Because what has happened apparently, they had digit numbers, and then in many of these places, the numbers switch over to smart.
Yeah.
And nobody have informed the people these numbers are not working. You're calling 911. You can't get through. I call it. I call, different agencies. And you can't get through. If I can't get through, that has a little bit of resources. What do you think of the women who don't? You have to keep on updating, and it's not, a lot of people come to me because they know, but I am not an elected official. Yeah. When I was an elected official, I with other people and work with NGOs, we established a shelter, we changed the laws. Yeah. But the people who are there elected now, they have the authority and they're not doing it. So it's baffling. It's baffling, and it's not that everybody know who is who and what is what. Yeah. So they need to be, put numbers that work. It so happens to, like, I might know some people, I have their personal numbers, like, for instance, with the police department. But these people's personal numbers. If you have their personal numbers, it's unfair to get in touch with them because this work is mentally stressful. Yeah. It's unfair to, I've been calling some of these personal contacts I had, and I said, Dorla, what I found out, they changed their number because it's too many calls coming in, and they're not getting compensated. They're not getting credits. I call department numbers, I don't know, they can't get through. And then if the phone is not working, I know in some cases the numbers were changed from digit to smart and people weren't informed, Yeah. But fortunately, I usually persist, and that's why I have to make so many calls and get through. Because I would know people, like, for instance, last week I managed to get through to the commissioner of police. After trying several times, I had a contact, and the commissioner of police mother also had worked with us to put in the Domestic Violence Act, And so because of that contact, and I used to communicate with him, I was able to get through to him and talk to him and say so and so and so, and he said, okay, I'm going to do this and this. But how many people can do that? Yeah. It has to be as simple as 1, 2, 3, ABC. Yeah. Because it's death. You're there with a death threat. And we have to evolve to a 724-hour service and don't have so much changes. Yeah. So it's hard to say what resources is out there, because at one point in time, the shelter for battered women, Haven House, was taken over by the government. And the government don't work 724. And then I was told that even domestic violence victims could not get in. They use it to house women that were charged with human trafficking. Yeah. These are the people that were filling up the shelter. And some of them it was one person said, well, if we don't do it, then I won't give we no money. You can't do that to people and organizations, and some women and some people are not strong enough to say that we are not here for that. And I took it up and I said, oh, human trafficking and domestic violence is the same thing. And then some people say, well, what we can do? Because if we don't do it, then I'll give away the little bit of money. I could remember when one woman came and Barrow, it's not an easy task. Some people feel it's an easy task just to say I'm president at this, but you have to pull up your sleeve and do the work. Yeah, a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I remember Carmen Barrow, every time we had Baron Bliss Day, she used to go up to Fort that time, they used to have regatta, and that's when she tried to have a fundraiser, and she kept, I know it's difficult, but it has to be done. It was more difficult to build the shelter. Yeah. What is government there? What are they there for? If they just want to rape and use what other non-governmental people did and just take it over, you don't even have access to it. Yeah. You can't help the people. The other day I live in Punta Gorda, somebody came to me and said, Dorla, I heard you were a big part of getting that shelter bill in Belize district. We want one here for PG. Why will I go when I can't even access the shelter myself? Yeah. I can't even access the shelter. So how will other people access it? Yeah, it's difficult for persons to access I suggest you call in the set ministries, because a lot of these things go back to the minister who calls the shot. The people who are elected, they control. And they feel they have the power to change things up, and a lot of them don't understand. And people, you know, they don't seek the information.
Yeah.
And so if it isn't sorted out, and let people know what is for what, because some people will say, oh, I call the envoy office, and they say, we are not here for that. I call Women's Commission, we are not. Well, so these are the key agencies, because they have the resources, you know, they have the resources, they have the legal responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, because when they will come, you know, they have the legal responsibility. If anybody want to go attack, they could get the police could go there, the police vehicle, the police commissioner. You know, so it's hard for NGOs. So this is the times when they have to do their stock taking and put the information out there.
Yeah.
Because even when we refer people, we take on that because we know it's a problem. If the regular woman and man goes, they don't get the service. So we saw that as a gap. So we took on the responsibility that, okay, you call us, because you don't even have to come into the office. Because sometimes people don't want other people to know that they're suffering.
Yeah.
Right? Call us, tell us the problem, we will go through it with you, and we will, together with you, we'll discuss and make a decision if you need to go to the hospital, if you need to go. And by the way, the domestic violence unit name has changed, I think they said. You know, have they put that out there publicly? And you don't just change a name to change a name. What are the services?
Yeah.
You know? So just making that appointment for the person so that when they come in from the village, they don't waste their time. They know they go into a meeting, they have an appointment, and they could deal with their issue. And that an organization. So that is how far we could go. But it's the government services that makes the real has to be there with the intervention, has to be there with the personnel to do the ongoing counseling and all that. Yeah. You know, they have to be the one. And many of these people in these institutions, sometimes they are under stress because it's a lot.
It's a lot to do.
And they don't get the mental care, they don't get the therapy that they need, and then sometimes their backs are against the wall, and then they feel that, oh, you're just pointing fingers at them, and they are powerless. They have to work with what they got.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they feel like you're just pounding on them and you're just looking to find faults. What we understand, and that is why I am not afraid. So I have to talk. Because people are afraid to talk.
Yeah.
But the services, as I see, they're in shambles.
Yeah.
As I said, just last week, I made 28 calls. And it's the commissioner of police who I finally got through to, who helped to save the day. And I managed finally to get through to somebody at Human Development who said, as I said, this is the weekend. He said, well, Miss Dorla, I will try and see what I could do over the weekend. But the battered person can't do that. And they should be forced to do that. There should be public service there.
Yeah.
With
a lot
our
of
tax
times
dollars.
It's too late for when they answer. Miss Dorla, I wish you had more time. I wish I brought you on for an hour, but the time is done and we have other guests outside. But I really appreciate how passionate you are with this issue. So I'm just going to ask you for your quick closing comments before we go to our break.
Well, my closing comments is the government of Belize, along with their partners, individuals and organizations who have some expertise, should come to the table and discuss, and we should work out a plan and with the matching resources, you know, what needs, and they need to bring in people who will not camouflage, and the locals could do it. I heard somebody said, oh, bring in this one from this part of the world, bring in somebody from that part of the world, that's an insult to us.
Yeah.
To us locals. You know? So my thing, let's give credit where credit is due. Because recently I did a project that would have looked at closing the gaps. We need to look at the domestic violence legislation, look at where the gaps are, in review in order to close these gaps. Because there are gaps. When the domestic violence legislation was put in place, which we designed and all that and presented to the cabinet, they presented to the members of the National Assembly. They took this out, they took that out, they took the other out. But those things need to go back in, and you need to look at the new gaps because attitudes have changed, population has increased, so we need to review with the mind to close the gaps. We need to look at policies and protocols. And because I know there was lacking in policies and protocols, that's what I went to study. You need to have policies and protocols, like a roadmap, and hold the people who our tax dollars money are paying accountable.
Yeah.
You know, but you can say, well, because Mary Garner 5:05 and the building may close, you blame who they run the building. That's their official timeline is so and so and so. There has to be official policies and protocols put in place as guideline. And this is the law, this is the policies, this is the we need to close the gaps. Otherwise, people will fall through the gaps. Not only women, the whole family, God forbid.
Yeah, and I think people have been falling through the cracks, especially with that fire situation in San Felipe. The woman wanted a restraining order, but all the courts were closed, and that's what happened. So, Ms. Bowman, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. We're definitely going to bring you back so that we can talk some more about this very sensitive issue. So, Belize will take a break, and we'll be right back.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go?
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Belize City, get ready for a safe and reliable e-taxi experience like never before. Building on the success of our e-ride bus service, we've heard your feedback, Belize City. We've seen your enthusiasm and how eagerly you've embraced zero-emission transportation in our community. Introducing the e-ride taxi, an electric taxi service, bringing you a cleaner, greener way to travel around our beautiful city. As part of the transformative Belize City e-ride program, this new service is another step toward modernizing our transportation system for a sustainable future. Looking to book your first e-ride taxi? It's super easy. First, download the Medriva app and register. Then, book your ride. Insert your pickup and drop-off location. Select e-ride, choose the number of occupants, and pick your preferred payment method. Confirm your ride and track your e-ride in real time as it makes its way to you. It's fast, eco-friendly, and designed for your comfort. So don't wait. Download Medriva today and let's drive Belize City towards a brighter, greener future, one e-ride at a time. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Flex Home Builders is the largest house building company in Belize. Flex combines the best skilled workers, high-grade materials, and the latest technology to produce the highest quality wooden residential structures. Request any size, color, and the home layout you want. Choose from hardwood or painted metal outer walls. Pletz can modify any of their existing house plans to your satisfaction, complete with all the installation services you need anywhere in the country, including ambergris key. They can also lift your house to your desired height up to 9 feet. From properly treated and cured lumber to quality sidings and floorings, let Pletz Home Builders give your home the finish you need. For prices or questions, call 823-0398 or go to www.pletzhomebuilders.com. Pletz Home Builders, we build to suit your needs.
Oh, I wasn't having a bad day. I just needed...
It's here, the biggest sale of the year. Find your happy place at Builders Hardware with our happy sale from October 15th to December 31st. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, we got unbeatable prices that will put a big smile on your face. Freshen up your walls with 20% off all paints and 25% off paint supplies. Upgrade your space with 25% off lights, fans, AC, and a wide selection of tiles to match your style. Plus, enjoy 30 to 50% off selective items. But that's not all. We also sell sand and gravel, blocks, roofing, and more. Find everything you need from construction start to finish. Don't miss out on our happy deals. Shop today or explore our online store at shopbuildersbz.com. Visit Builders Hardware in Belmopan. This is your happy place.
It is truly an honor to stand here today as a part of the Self-Phone Repair Training Program. A program that has not only taught us a valuable technical skill, but also empowered us as women to step into a field that is often seen as male-dominated. We learn how to open up phones, identify parts, common problems, and even fix these issues on our own. We have not only learned a new trade, but we have proven that women can do anything we set our minds to.
I am forever grateful for this experience. This course was amazing, and I bet these ladies have that knowledge now, and nobody's gonna take away that knowledge that we have.
So it's an opportunity for you to start to figure out the way forward and to be able to market to your community.
When women are empowered and they're productive, they produce, GDP grows, and we're all more productive and better off as an entire country. So they're investing in you, and they fully expect that you guys are going to go out and work and make your community better, make your families better, and then the country as a consequence is going to be so much better because of your hard work. I want to thank you for believing in yourself, for having the confidence to at least attempt something new. And in the future, I want you to continue to take chances, to challenge yourself, not to underestimate what you can do and try new things, because a lot of times people need just one chance.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize.
We were joined by Ms. Dorla Bowman, who is an advocate for women's rights regarding domestic violence. She was one of the first persons to assist in opening Haven House in Belize City, a shelter for battered women. And she's concerned about the gaps that are currently there. And she's concerned that women are falling through the gaps, not being able to properly access the resources and the help when it comes to gender-based violence. So we want to thank her for being a part of this morning's show. Now, the second segment, again, I'm joined by persons from the University of Belize, and it's all about STEM. They're having their annual STEM fair next week, and of course, they want you to show up. So I'm joined by two persons from the university. I'm joined by Mr. Antonio Cano and a student, Hector Maldonado. So, gentlemen, good morning. I'll just have you guys introduce yourselves.
Sure. Good morning, LJ. Thank you for having us here today. I'm Antonio Cano. I am a lecturer in the Faculty of Science and Technology. I'm also the department chair for science. So pleased to be here.
Good morning, and it's a pleasure as well. I'm Hector, and I'm a bachelor in biology student, completing my 4th year.
Nice, but I couldn't make it to my bachelor's. No, I stopped after my associates because I think bachelor's is a little too hard for me. So always time. That's true. When I plan to go back and get my bachelor's. I don't know when, but I have it in my sights. It's something I want to do. So let's talk about this STEM fair, this annual STEM fair. What can people expect when they come to this fair? I mean, what is this fair all about?
Sure. So, like you mentioned, this is an annual event that we do at the University of Belize within our faculty, the Faculty of Science and Technology. In years past, it has been known and called the Science Open Day. But this year, the planning committee, we sat down and we decided to rebrand the event to be the FSD STEM Fair. So STEM standing for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. So within the Faculty of Science and Technology, there are various departments. You know, I mentioned I'm in charge of the Science department, but we have a department that is in charge of the Math, Physics, and IT. We have a department that's in charge of the Engineering, and we also have a department at Central Farm that's in charge of the Agriculture. And so we really wanted to not just be a science-based event, but really a faculty event where we're integrating the work and the stakeholders from all our various departments. So we rebranded as a STEM fair, and the general premise is still the same. You know, we invite, it's open to the public. We invite stakeholders to come and join us and be a part of that day. So we have various stakeholders who will have booths on that day. We also encourage and have our students, various classes, clubs, to also participate. And so we will have multiple displays from again across the faculty. And really exciting as well is that it's not just booths, but we'll also be utilizing some of our lab spaces. So within the science department, we have like our biology and chemistry labs, and so there'll be different activities going on in there. I know in the IT department, they're going to have their labs open as well, so you're going to have different activities going on in there. So it's going to be really fun and interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun field day to learn. So Hector, you fall under the S when it comes to STEM, right? Because they're in the sciences. So let's talk about what you guys will be doing at the fair. What can persons expect from the science department?
Well, from the science department, things that highlight our yearly science fair would be the microbiology section, in which students work on yogurt production. And also then to the other door on the chemistry lab, we have students working on fermentation and saponification. So it's quite interesting, and especially this year when we have also clubs like the Bioinformatics Club that will be out there offering like information about bioinformatics. We'll have games and little snacks for students to enjoy, and will be part of this whole fair and have them like learn a lot of our department as well.
Nice. So on the flyer, I see like a robot hand. Is our robotics out there as well? Because I think that when people think about STEM, they kind of lean towards those types of things.
Yes. Like I said, we're trying to bring in the full scope of our faculty here, and so over the past year, we've had faculty members who have been working towards kind of improving the reach of robotics within the university. I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday a small robotics event happening on campus.
Yeah, the bike race.
Yes. And so definitely you'll expect to see more of that at our event.
Nice. So I know the theme for this year's event is STEM for a Sustainable Belize. How can STEM contribute to that goal of making Belize more sustainable?
Definitely. Again, when we sat down, really actually before we got to this event, at our kind of leadership level, we were thinking a little bit about integrating the different activities of our different departments. And one commonality that we saw is that, yes, we have our disciplines, but what is the end game, right? And for us, the end game is that we want to advance Belize, and Belize is a country that is really rich in resources, but also at a position in time that is faced with various threats.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to see how can STEM be utilized in a way that helps us to grow, but grow sustainably.
Right. So Hector, I want to go back to you because you're a student in all of this. You're a bachelor's student. Why did you decide to enter this field? And do you believe that what you're doing can lead again to a more sustainable Belize?
Yes, I do believe that our fields of science do lead to a more sustainable Belize because, well, everything is science now. The environment, our health system. And so I decided to join the science department because I did science as a major in high school. So when it came to joining the UB family, I was decisive on whether to join the health science or the science itself. So I decided that science is quite more of an interesting topic for me because it sort of looks at everything: environment, health, social, And so it's interesting for me, and I decided it's here where I want to evolve as a person and as a Belizean.
Nice. So would you encourage more people to get into this field? Because I know when people think about science, technology, engineering, maths, those are the four subjects where people say are the hardest.
Yes.
You know, people like me take English because that's easy. I just have to read a book, write a book report.
Yeah.
So would you encourage persons to try and enter these more difficult fields?
Definitely. It's challenging, but in the end, you feel satisfied with the results that you acquire and the results that you get to have. Because why not go and challenge yourself and show others that you can, and you can move forward with the science field in Belize? It's sometimes people be like, I will study science, but I don't know where I will get a job.
Yeah.
And there are jobs out there, and we need more science majors to join our faculty and these fields, so that our Belize science field is more developed in the near future.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest fears of people. I used to work at a call center, and people would be there and they say, boy, I have my associates in biology or chemistry, and we're at the same call center because it's just hard to find jobs. So I agree with what you're saying, that if more people enter the field, jobs will be there because they have to find jobs for people. So, Mr. Cano, let's just talk about what time this fair starts, about how many booths are you guys expecting, what can persons visiting expect, prizes and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. So our event is going to start at 9 a.m.
Bright and early.
Yes, bright and early. We have various booths. I believe in total we have roughly about 30 booths that will be there. And that's not including as well the different, again, lab setups that will be happening. So there'll be a lot of activities. Again, each entity is kind of managing their own little station. So like Hector mentioned, his club is having little snacks and other yogurt. Other booths are going to be having prizes and giveaways, and so it's a nice event. We also invited various schools, so we have schools coming from pretty much across the country. I think we have schools coming from all the way from Corozal, and as well a couple schools from Stan Creek.
Wow.
And of course the schools here kind of locally that are going to be coming in. So it's always a really nice experience.
So it sounds like a pack-filled family event. So let's just, of course this can't happen without the sponsors. So let's just talk about who all are helping you guys to put off this amazing STEM fair.
Yeah, definitely. So like you mentioned, these types of events, they only happen when you have the support. And thankfully, we have a network of stakeholders that are behind us and helping us throughout the way. And so I do want to take a little moment to recognize our platinum sponsor, which is the Belize Vector and Ecology Center. But we also have gold sponsors, PACT, the Institute of Archaeology Niche, ESR BSI, and then our silver sponsor, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Nice. So Hector, as a student, I'll have you do the honors of telling the people why they should come out and support the students who are putting off this fair.
First of all, because we are putting it on.
Good reason.
In this event, students will not only get to know the fields that we have out there as the department, but they will also get to know things that they might fall in love with. Yes. It's quite interesting that every single course has a booth, and especially things that interest me would be like the lab settings that they should and they can go to, which will help them develop and have a better view of what our department is. And we also have the marine bio students, which is a very small family, but they put up their nice booth and they have displays there, so nice and lovely and welcoming. So students should come around. They should support the effort that we make for them to enjoy a science fair.
And of course, this is an opportunity for the students to network as well with these big businesses, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the main objectives why we started to do this. One, to have our stakeholders there to share what they do. Right there on our campus, our students can easily access them, talk to them, share about themselves. And then, of course, the students having their displays there, our stakeholders can see what our students are doing as well.
Yeah.
And then the students that are visiting us, they get to see what they'll be doing in a couple of years down the road. So it's really great. And I wanted to mention too, you said kind of like a fun-filled family day. And I really like that there because, you know, if you have small children, bring them, let their minds be amazed by all the wonderful things they're going to see there.
Yeah, especially in Belize, because people really don't think that Belize can put off these types of events, these types of shows that showcase science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So I think it will be a great event for persons to go to. And of course, we'll be there covering it for our evening news, as we always do. So gentlemen, just some closing comments before we go. Hector, I'll start with you.
Yes. Oh, well, we warmly welcome everyone, not only schools, the public in general. We will be more than happy to have you there, support us, and learn, especially because learning is quite an incentive that we have in life. And so I lean towards learning a lot, and so I would love everyone to get involved with science, get to learn science, get to love science. Forget other shows and watch science shows, and forget any other thing of your day and visit our booths.
Sure. Yeah, echoing Hector's invitation, please join us on that day. For reference, we are planning to be kind of in the central parking lot there at UB, provided that the weather holds up. But we do have a backup plan. If the weather is not cooperating, we'll move over to the gym. But we like that area there, nice and open and accessible for everybody. So please join us. We'll be sharing as well through social media layout of our event early next week. And so you'll be able to see who all will be there, what types of displays they'll have. So a great way to kind of plan your day.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Again, next week, Thursday, is the fair at the University of Belize's main campus right here in Belmopan. It starts at 9 a.m., finishes at 2 p.m. Approximately about 30 booths are going to be out there filled with students from the 4 majors of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's going to be a cool, fun day, and of course, we're going to be covering it right here at PlusTv. UB is just having an amazing month and year. It's 25 years for you guys. I think tonight is the concert as well. Tomorrow is the concert, the endowment concert. Still time to get tickets. 75 for the general, 150 for the VIP, if I'm not mistaken. Tickets can be bought right at the University of Belize's campus. And of course, all the funds go towards events such as this, as the STEM Fair, making things work and just building upon the great work that the university has laid the foundation for its students and staff. So I just want to thank you guys. Tonight, of course, we have our 6 p.m. newscast. We're going to be covering a lot. Today is a very busy day in the capital. At 9 a.m., the Ministry of Sustainable Development is handing over some equipment to combat sargassum, you know, that stink-hole seaweed that's found on the beaches. Well, they're finally going to be cleaning that up with some of the equipment that they're going to be receiving today at 9 o'clock. Of course, NEMO is having a meeting at 9 o'clock as well, just fixing some of their action plans. We're going to be covering that as well. At 1 p.m., Marla's House of Hope is going to be receiving a donation from the City Council. and Christy Guzman is back in court today for the murder of Wilson Hernandez. So a lot of things happening here in the capital. Of course, we like to cover the main stories happening here in the city of Belmopan. And if, as I said this every Friday that I'm here, news cannot happen without you guys who watch us daily, who text us information. So if you know of anything happening in the capital and you'd like for us to cover it for the news, you'd like to just give us a tip, you can reach us at 671-2815, completely anonymous. So thank you guys, and again, Mr. Cano, I appreciate you coming. Hector, appreciate you coming, and good luck next week. And guys, with that said, we'll say goodbye.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier.